Hello everyone, what's up? Welcome to part 2 of POE currency and how to make some. Alright, let's start with two don't do's, okay? Last time we talked about a bunch of do's, this time don't do. So first don't do is chaos recipe. Chaos recipe is a waste of time. The only one situation I would do a chaos recipe is if in fact you're farming incursions in solo self found. In that particular case, all the loot just drops in one place, and it's kind of easy to sift through and pick up the stuff that you need. Uh, but even again, let me stress this out, only in solo self found. Otherwise, identify your items, vendor them, you'll get alteration shards and alterations. Um, Alchemy shards and alchemies, and this will allow you to sustain your currency. Alright, so that's the first don't do. Very important, complete waste of time. Don't do chaos recipes. Or any recipes at all. Alright, no exalt recipes. All those type of things are a waste of your time. Some of the bases for exalt recipes are going to be worth much more than the exalted shards that you're going to get. So much work for very, very little return. Alright, so second, chaotic orb right here is in fact not the most chaotic orb in the game. And I'm going to quote my friend Xenocide Genius that once said, the most chaotic orb in the game is in fact the fusing orb. Alright, so we've all been in these situations. We started the league out, farmed a few hundred of fusings, and now we try to get our 6th link. We bought the body armor, whatever, Carcass Jacks, Impulsa. We got a lore weave, whatever it is. We try to link it, Belly of the Beast, we try to link it, and we fail. This is probably the most crushing defeat you'll ever suffer in a video game. And I'm not joking. If you spend a few days farming, you got like 500 fusing orbs, 700, whatever, 300. You decide to blow it all up on this one chest and it fails to link. You guys are now crushed, defeated, and most importantly, don't have your fusing orbs. A much smarter approach. And let's give you some numbers. The 6 link recipe in the crafting table stands on 1500 fusings for a reason. Reason being that it is said that roughly every 1300 fusings you will get one 6 link, which means it's extremely hard to 6 link. The chances are very, very low. It only takes one fusing, one lucky one, but it can only take you 5 and 6 and 7,000s, and most I've ever had, in terms of failing fusing was 3,800. And again, that was in a solo self found, and I didn't have a choice. I had fusings. I'm playing SSF, in Incursion League, in fact, and wanted my 6 link. Eventually, after about 3 weeks of playing with like 5 link, playing with Tabula, playing with a low tier eye level 60 Emperor of Purity card that I farmed on tier 3. Back then it was tier 3 Springs map that in fact no longer exists in the game, but the card actually now drops in a crater, in a fungal hollow. Alright, so Emperor of Purity. This card right here gives you an eye level 60 Holy Chainmail. Low resists, low life potential because eye level is very low, but it is a 6 link, and I did make it work for a few weeks until I finally linked my body armor. I don't remember what it was. So yeah, one time 3,800 fusings, and that was in Soul Found. Outside of that, I seriously don't recommend you to do that. Instead, and this is going to talk about the do's, and the second part of this kind of like video is conserve your currency and sell it. Sell your currency, use POE.Trade, and I'm going to show you how to use POE.Trade to sell your currency efficiently and in a way that's not going to lose you money. What does that mean? You have 600, okay, I got 1270 jewelers, right? Let's say I want to sell 1200 and I want to keep myself some jewelers. Maybe I want some 4 links, stuff like that. I don't want to sell every single one of them. Alright, so let's try and look at POE.Trade right now and look at some fusings, or sorry, jewelers. what you're looking for is people that are going to be looking for jewelers, right? You want to sell. Okay, let's start with that. You want to sell your jewelers, right? You want chaos. So if you go, I want chaos, I have jewelers, what you'll see is, well, kind of weird, but let's say this ratio, right? 20 to 200, 1 to 10, roughly. Okay? And there's a bunch of people, pretty much same ratio, 20 to 200. Let's go and look for it for the other side, right? Let's think about what happens when someone wants jewelers. He's going to see what you posted, right? So you want jewelers, and you have chaos. The ratio actually kind of remains slightly better. Say it was 10 to 1, but now it's like 10 to 94. Or it was 1 to 10, right? So 10 to 100. But now it's like 10 to 94. You go down, it's going to be a bit lower, 10 to 92, right? What does that mean? That means that you sell your jewelers for much higher value if you look at it the other way. If you look at it from the buyer's way, right? The buyer's point of view is, I want to buy jewelers now. I want to do this thing that I want to do, recolor my body armor with jeweler recipe, whatever. He will be looking for jewelers, all right? So you don't go to a currency buyer to sell your jewelers. You will be waiting until a jeweler buyer will come to you, and that makes for a big difference in your currency, and that is the guideline that we use for all of our currencies. All right, not just jewelers in this example. And in this example, we see this guy with 4K. 4K jewelers is nothing, right? Looking for a big dealer. Sometimes you see like people with like 20,000 all of a sudden, and they will become kind of like your blockers. Sometimes it happens. Well, in cases where it doesn't happen, I don't. Oh, this guy has 6,000, but still. Oh, this guy has 7,000, right? So the idea is you want to be in front of your blocker. You want to be offering a better rate. Okay, you want to offer a slightly better rate, even if it's just one jeweler. For example, you have 857 total, or 870 jewelers, right, that you want to get rid of. This guy sells 10 to 8 to 85, right? So if you want to stand in front of him, all you got to do is offer 851 for 100 chaos, so that a jeweler buyer will see you first and will come to you first. So if you post it, I don't know if it's going to show up immediately. If it's not, you're just going to have to trust me on this one. But basically, what you're going to be offering is, hey, I'm selling jewelers now, right? 851 for 100 chaos orbs, and then you save and accept. And then you go to currency research, search, and then jewelers for chaos, because that's what you post, right? If someone wants jewelers, it'll come to you again. And there you go. And you're looking for that one guy with the 85, and you should be seeing yourself somewhere. I lost that guy. Oh, there it is. Okay. See, 851 to 100. Somebody's going to whisper me if I'm going to continue this video eventually, because jewelers fusings are basically very, very quick to trade currencies. Now, currently, there are a bunch of people with like 4,800, whatever. Okay, so maybe you want to pick someone else to be your kind of like blocker. What you don't want to do is to stand behind a dude with like 20,000 of that currency, because nobody will whisper you. They'll always whisper them. They'll offer them a better deal. You want to be the one offering the better deal. But you don't. What you don't want to do is go the other way around. Chaos for chaos for you know, for jewelers, and be like, okay, so they're selling 200 for 20. I'm gonna do mine, you know, 1 to 10, because 1 to 10 is not the ratio that we're getting here. Alright, we're getting a much better ratio for ourselves. If we went there, we would have to give 1,000 chaos for 100, but instead we're only going to sell 851, and thus making more chaos with the jewelers that we have. Alright, I'm going to remove this because I don't want to actually sell my jewelers. I want to keep them, but it was just for the sake of the example. And this is something that's very important for you guys to do a few days into the league. When you start to pile up your currency, you can do that even every day, but you know, you're going to be farming, stuff's going to drop, it's going to take you a while to um, stock up on all these currencies, right? But one thing you may not be using would be regrets. You may not be using sextants. You may not be using sometimes val orbs, right? You may not be using chance orbs. Always keep your alchemies, your scourings, your regals, of course your chaos. Um, Even save your blessed orbs. But currencies that you may not be using, at least I find myself not to be using all that much, at least not early on. I find myself, with like 800 alteration orbs or 1,000 alteration orbs a few days into the league. I find myself with 2,000 jeweler orbs, with like 400, 500 fusing orbs a few days into the league. And then what I do, instead of just, again, brings us to the don't do, instead of just going on and just buying fusings and pouring it all on a body armor, what I do is I sell all these currencies for chaos. I pile up on chaos, then I buy a few exalts with this chaos. Again, with the same method. I don't go. I would like to buy chaos. I would like to buy an exalt. I have chaos. I go. I would like to sell chaos to an exalt buyer, and then you're going to get more chaos for your. Then you're going to get more exalts for your chaos, right? Instead of, let's say, the price of exalts is like roughly 60, you're going to be getting 62 from from a chaos buyer, because he's going to want to buy your chaos for 62, so you made 2 chaos in that transaction. Of course, for 2 chaos it doesn't really matter, but the principle is sound and solid, and this is the principle you should follow. Whenever you want currency, you don't want to buy currency for chaos. You want to be selling your chaos and waiting for someone to come to you. This is in general also a very good rule. If you know that you're going to be having a large crafting session in a few levels, or you're running out of chisels, and you're running out of alchemy, and you're still good for now, but you need it for a bit later, maybe an hour from now, and you're going to keep farming, you're going to run out of alchemies. Post, I'm selling my chaos for alchemies, and then chaos buyers are going to give you their alchemy for your chaos, and that way you will save a lot of currency if you just look at it the other way. Alright, just don't wait until the last seconds when you have like exactly 0 alchemies and you cannot run your maps, right? You need your alks for mapping. So this is a very, very good advice that if you follow, I promise you, you're going to make money by not losing it and spewing it on some silly body armor that, if you looked at it the entirety of how much it actually costs to buy from POE.Trade. Let me give you an example. Let's say you just made a low weave, right? Because I kind of just made a low weave, and you want to link it, right? You want it 6 link because you just have a low weave. You want it for your characters, and you have about 800 fusings, okay? And you start dumping those fusings. Let's say you hit. Let's say you didn't hit. Well, if you didn't hit, rip, right? So 800 fusings. How much did you lose? Let's go back to POE.Trade. People that want exalts and they have, people that want fusings and they have exalts currently pay. Well, they pay roughly 2 exalts. Okay, it looks like it. Maybe slightly more. Maybe these guys already sold their fusings. Actually, it's a pretty good price right now. 840 for like 400 plus for 1 exalt is actually a pretty good price, but I guess it's because the exalt price went up. Normally, for 800 fusings, you will get roughly 3 exalts. Okay, right now the price is kind of wonky because exalts just went up, but disregard that. What's happening on POE.Trade? Okay. Normally, what you will get for 800 fusings, you'll generally get something like generally get something like 3 exalts. Okay, now let's look for a low weave. Alright, 6 linked, non-corrupted. I don't want to see any weird results. 3.8 exalts, right? 3.8, 4 exalts, 4 exalts, 4 exalts. There's a bunch of them for 4 exalts. You just pick one up and buy for 4 exalts. So what normally you would risk spending 3, you're getting guaranteed 6 link here for 4 exalts, right? And if you browse, You might be even seeing ones with like ADR resist. Oh, there's one right here. ADR resist right here. Like for exalts already 6 link 3 minutes ago. Think about that. Okay? Think about it for a second. 4 exalted orbs instead of, like, the alternative would be gambling with your maybe last 800 fusings. Maybe that's like all you have, right? And you may not win. You may not win here, and if you're not winning, that means you lost all your fusings, and maybe you have a couple dozen chaos. Maybe, I don't know, you have a divine or two. Maybe you have an exalt even. But what you don't have are these equivalent to 3 exalts in fusings that you just dumped on a body armor, where all you could have done is legitimately just sell your fusings jewelers, maybe some alterations, buy the exalts with that money. Alright? I'm saying buy, right? But I mean wait for someone to buy your fusings to give you chaos, and then, wait for someone to buy your chaos to give you exalts. Alright, let's not forget about that. That's very, very important. And I really kind of like want for you guys to be able to tell the distinction between selling your chaos or, selling your fusings. There's a difference. Buying and selling, there's a margin there, and that's how currency flippers make their profit, because they sit right there in that gray area between buying and selling, and that's how they make their profit. Alright, so yeah, so all you had to do is just wait for a little bit, gather one more exalted orb, and then pay for like maybe farm a few more hours. Maybe exalt will drop, but if not, just consistently grinding your way into another exalt, which is not that bad. All you gotta do is just play the video game. Some alchemies will drop, some val orbs, some regrets, some fusings, some jewelers, and 7 and 6 socketed items and alterations you identify. Some gem cutter prism. You're going to gather all your quality gems, right? And then you're going to vendor them for GCPs, and slowly you'll manage to gather currency. Just convert all that currency into chaos. Convert that chaos to the amount of exalts that you need, and buy yourself a guaranteed 6 link off of POE.Trade. It's cheap, way cheaper than you may think, and very, very attainable, very achievable for anyone to get. Alright, there's plenty of 6 links out there. Alright, now that we've understood that, I kind of like touched on another thing I want to talk about: quality gems. Quality gems, the rule is when you have 40 of them, when you have some total of 40, excuse me, some total of 40 quality, what will happen is you will get 1 GCP. Alright, when you vendor them, there it is, 1 GCP, because sum total is 40. Alright, so what you'll do is you'll gather these quality gems. I have a tab, I call it percentage, because they're all kind of like quality stuff here. I just vendor all my gems. They all have low quality, and I just vendor them, make GCPs this way. It's much, much easier than, like you see here, for example, Ball Lightning 14 quality. Hey, maybe there's someone in the community that would pay 1 chaos for this, but do I really want to get out of my map for 1 chaos trade that may or may not happen and waste, valuable stash tab space in order to maybe make a 1 chaos trade one day? No, I don't. So I will just vendor all that garbage, because there's a lot of that going around, people running labs non-stop. Generating, thousands and thousands and thousands of quality gems that nobody buys, right? People always going to buy maybe the 17 plus, slam a few GCPs on them, trying to get them for a cheap price. Maybe exactly 12. Sometimes you'll have a little, you'll have a little wisdom scroll fragment over there, but even then it's okay. Just vendor, don't think about it. Boom, we had like 21, now we got 36. We can sell that, and that's kind of like what I do. Every couple of days, this tab will get full. We'll vendor and gather some gem cutter prisms. Okay, so people run the labs. Don't bother. All right, don't bother. And again, that's another thing. Don't bother with small trades. Okay, this is not worth your time. The time it takes you to leave the map, to wait until a person comes to your hideout, maybe he disconnects, I don't know, wait until he comes back, do the trade, putting this, you know, all of this precious, precious seconds that you're legitimately wasting off of your playtime, selling minuscule items for one alchemy, one chaos, one fusing. Like, okay, like legitimately, guys, this is ridiculous. Okay, people just are unaware that one alchemy items, one chaos item, in the long run, it's a complete waste of time. Don't bother with that. I don't even have items. Okay, maybe very, very, very early into the league. Like we're talking day one when my stash out is completely empty. Day two and on, this is my strategy. I don't even keep stuff less than like maybe 10 chaos, the least. This is an 8 chaos item. I probably should vendor. If nobody contacts me about an 8 chaos item, I'm probably going to vendor it, right? This happens to be level 83 that I kind of slammed and thought, hey, tier 2 cold to bows, tier 2 fire to bows, accuracy if you haven't killed, some Ellie pen, guess kind of good for bosses. Maybe someone will pay 8 chaos for that. That's not a bad jewel. Fact of the matter is, it doesn't have any life, and nobody wants it. It's been sitting in my stash for maybe a day, maybe two. If nobody wants this by this time, it's a waste of time, right? So I'm going to put it in the crafting tab, and maybe we're going to recraft it later, right? I keep all these eye level 83 gems because I craft them, right? Jewels, sorry, because I use them for crafting for my own character. This is not a good example because I kind of, I guess this is a good example, right? We got some, I thought it's a different character. We got some, lightning damage to spells, cold damage while holding a shield, so monsters will freeze and shatter. It's a crit build, tier 1 life roll, and I believe I slammed the chance to avoid. So, yeah, rip that. But, this was a pretty good starting jewel. Slammed an exalt, didn't really work. But this is something I crafted on my own with just alterations, and this is also something I recommend you to do. Let's say you have this jewel right here. All you need to hit, I don't have too many alterations to really demonstrate right now. Kind of low, was doing a lot of crafting, but basically all you need to hit is life and double damage mods, and your jewel is already going to be worth a little bit. Okay, let's imagine this 53 is like 45 to life, and we augment, and then we get tier 1 cold damage to spells. Now we're going to have to regal, and we're getting lightning damage to spells, tier 2. A jewel like this, with like 45 life, cold damage to spells, lightning damage to spells, this is a jewel I would personally slam with an exalt. It's very similar to this, but you may just post it right here for one exalt. We're tier 1 and tier 2, and you saw, it didn't even take me, like, I just augmented regold, right? It didn't take me anything. Basically, very, very little resources were put into making this jewel. Alterations are like very cheap because you farm them yourselves, right? This is a tier 2 chaos damage to spells while holding a shield. You can augment that. Cast speed, maybe good. Mana, probably not so much. If I hit the life, maybe it's worth something. Global crit multi, that's always money if it hits life, because crit multi is always a suffix everywhere. And we did get life, so all we gotta do is regal. Life roll is not amazing, granted, but yeah, all we gotta do is regal, big damage to spells, like tier 1, tier 2, and this is like 35, 40 chaos. We got some energy shield, hybrid life energy shield, not very good. We're gonna, continue. But again, you saw, within the span of like exactly 5 alterations, I already got some nice results. Life elemental penetration if you haven't killed recently. This could be good for a miner, for a trapper, right? All you gotta do is regal good damage for spells and you're golden, right? So crafting like this, 44 damage and increased damage if you've killed recently. This is really good. Because, while mapping, you're always in a situation where you've killed recently, and then tier 2 to life, just get some damage to spells. We did get damage to spells, but the worst possible tier. That's kind of unfortunate. But this is just to show you guys, on high eye level jewels, I recommend starting at eye level 80, but 83 will grant you a chance for a tier 1 life roll, which is the most valuable. And I actually have a more thorough video talking about jewels. You may want to go and check it out. I had way more alterations. We did way better experiments there. But a jewel like this could be worth an exalt pretty easily, maybe even 1.5 exalt if it rolls like a tier 1 damage to spells, tier 1 lightning, fire, cold, and then you even decide to slam it and get like another tier 1 roll or a tier 2 one or a tier 2 roll of damage to spells while holding shield, while dual wielding with a two-handed weapon. There's a bunch of, you know, staff wielding, shaper staff wielding builds out there. It's very, very much in the meta. Hashtag the Mathil effect, and these type of things will sell for a lot, you know. So maybe not this exact jewel because the damage while dual wielding indeed rolled very, very low and would make this kind of useless. But the increased damage tier 2 life, that's pretty good for you right there. So, you know, use your alterations. Don't do chaos recipes. Just pick up everything, not everything, but like identify your items. You know, don't waste your time on one alchemy, one chaos trades. It is legit like a waste of time. Sometimes you sell an alchemy item, for example, the Whispering Ice. Next time you find the Whispering Ice, you know, just go to the vendor and vendor it, and you'll see that item is actually one alchemy and like 7 alteration orbs, you know, which is ridiculous because people post it at POE.Trade for one alchemy. As a matter of fact, you know what, for the sake of the video, let me just try and find the Whispering Ice here. Hey, it's a one alchemy item, just posted yesterday. Awesome. Yeah, I don't know, these guys, sometimes they're AFK 2 weeks ago. Maybe one of them will answer me. We do want to make it quick. 4 hours ago. Oh man. The guy just legitimately posted it 4 hours ago. That's just so sad, man. Is this the guy? No, it's this the guy. Here we go. Hey, one alchemy Whispering Ice. Thank you very much. Alright, so I just bought this staff for one alchemy.
Welcome.
Look what happens. Kapow! One alchemy and 3 alteration. That guy left his map, was in a party, left his map to trade with me, where all he could have done is just like legitimately sell the stupid item to the vendor, right? He listed it, he allocated space in his trade stash tab. He had to search for the item, he had to go to the tab to sell it to me for one alchemy, where he could have gotten more than one alchemy if he sold it to a vendor. Now that is like legitimate crazy. I believe even Einstein said that one time. Alright, so I hope you learned something today. This was a part 2. If you really kind of like adopt the stuff I've been talking about in the last 2 videos, guys, there are many things you could do. And you know, there's seriously, I could talk a lot. Maybe I'll think of like other stuff that are kind of like important for new players, right? But the whole thing is, okay, let's make some more money. Sure. Yeah, I'm gonna buy your Whispering Ice for an alchemy and make 3 alteration orbs as profit. Oh yeah, sure. Trade me. Look at how long this shit takes. No, thank you. Why, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Let's repeat that action. Ooh. Oh, we are making it. This is a secret method. This is how you make tons and tons of currency, guys. Tons and tons. Just buy all the Whispering Ice and sell them. The difference is 3 alteration shards, and you can get rich by then selling all these alterations. See, I got 16 alteration shards. I just made 6 alteration shards off of these 2 trades. These guys don't know, but they're losing money and losing time, and it's really sad. You know, I used to actually tell these guys, try and vendor this item one time. This is a very specific example where an item will give you an entire alchemy, but the principle is sound and solid. Don't waste your time, because sometimes uniques will give you, you know, half an alchemy, 14 shards, 7 shards of alchemy. It doesn't matter. The point is, alchemy is such a cheap orb that you shouldn't be wasting your time trading for just the one, even if you just legitimately started out this league. Okay, it's never true. It's such a waste of time. Don't waste it. Just vendor, get your alt shards, get your alchemy shards. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video and learned something today. Thank you very much for watching. Our community is growing, and I actually love to thank everybody for hanging out a lot in the stream recently. It's, you know, breathing some new motivation in me, and gets me up there every day, all day, and we're grinding and we're making the YouTube videos, and you guys are loving it. So keep doing what you do, and I'm gonna keep doing what I do, and would love to see more of you guys on stream. Spread the word. We are here every day on the grind. Thanks for watching.